I want to be like those who were able to build long-lasting businesses that outlived them.
Yeah.
This legacy
Empires,
businesses.
business empires.
The empires.
Yeah.
Yes. But now, Mr. Madisha, how do you do that? If, number one, you don't have skills, you're not trained in anything. So I think I was fortunate enough. I met the gentleman called Mr. Mohammed. It's Mr. Mohammed Asif Qasim. Such a remarkable guy with a beautiful heart. And that was a turnaround in my life. He owns some few factories. He's in multi-industries. And we met because in between, it's just that I did not tell you that there was a gap when I had to go and work somewhere. And then I worked for different industries, but mostly as a cleaner and so on, until I worked for BMW Komantana. And then that's when I met Mr. Mohammed, because I used to be a shop steward. And I used to be this vocal, vibrant shop steward. And that time I thought, if you are a shop steward, you must be the enemy
of clients.
Of the employers. Yes. And then what happened is I was very problematic, I must say. And I think I was the first to actually take in the history of that company to take almost half of the staff to the strike just to disrupt the production, which is something that I am not proud of today. But those were the learning curves, and the company successfully, after they failed so many times to get rid of me, but successfully they got rid of me.
Yeah.
Yes, which was a blessing in disguise.
True.
And
we couldn't have Makopo Holdings if it wasn't that case.
Exactly. But the thing is, me holding in there, I was that kind of a shop steward. I practiced labor law a lot, and I ended up being a recruiter at NUMSA because I had so much relationship with NUMSA. Then I worked for a union for some time on a fixed term contract. But I learned a lot of things about labor legislation and everything. Then how did I meet Mr. Mohammed? His company was embarking on the provisions of Section 189. In simple terms, they were retrenching. And then I was one of the observers there. And that's when he have seen that, okay, but this guy is just a bunch of, he's a bunch of brains.
Yeah.
And that time I was unemployed. I was going there on voluntary basis. And that's how I met him. And then he said to me, do you have a company? I said, no. And then he said, why don't you register one? And somehow I knew that it was that time for me
to give birth,
to give birth to Makopo Holdings.
Yeah.
And then, like they say, the rest is history. Then I registered Makopo Holdings. Even though Unica, his company, it's Unica Iron and Steel, it's based in Hammanskraal. And even though they are the main reason why we do exist, because if it was not him, we wouldn't be where we are today.
I definitely have to give it to you that you are also a man with a bunch of brains. Having
the cleaning business, I think the company that gave us the contract, most companies, what they do is they actually want to focus what is their core competence. And what they do, they outsource what it's not their thing. And I took advantage of that. And industries, what they do on day-to-day basis during production, they generate a lot of waste.
Yeah, true.
And now when they generate waste and then there's a need, it's a huge market. I don't know how big it can be, the market, but I can assure you it can be around millions, hundreds of millions or billions in the market. And what I did is I found that this company just want to focus somewhere else, and then they just need someone who can come and do the cleaning. Now, when we were doing the cleaning, it was kind of special cleaning. It was kind of like a maintenance cleaning, because what we do in the process of manufacturing steel, it leaves some scales. And then if that scale is not removed in between the shifts or intervals, then there are breakdowns. Then they gave me that opportunity to clean their rolling mills. And then when I was cleaning their rolling mills, and then afterwards, and then they said, you know what, we want your company to be responsible for our environmental compliance. And that's when I learned a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yes, and then every day I even learned how to segregate the waste, how to manage the waste.
Yeah.
And in exchange of that, and then that's how I was able to build a very big business, because as long as Mr. Madisha, there's something that someone is not willing to do himself, and you are willing to do that, and someone is willing to actually pay for that, then once you tick those boxes, then already you are in business.
You're already in
The same directors of Unica Iron and Steel, they introduced me to some companies, their friends in the same industry. And somehow we were delivering some solutionist. We were more of a solution to managing their environmental compliance and everything. And somehow they introduced us to one of their friends, Mr. Sachin Ahuja, and he had 3 companies that time. They are in Al Road in Albertine. Then they introduced us there, and then they became our second client. We were doing the same thing.
Cleaning services.
Yes, and that's how we came about Makopo Engineering, because when we were there, then that company started to outsource even the production side of things. They were teaching us how to run the production, how to manage the rolling mills and everything, apart from just being a cleaning company.
True.
And I wanted to actually manage those, because they were special services. I wanted to manage that from a different entity. So that, because now this one, actually, even though the idea Makopo Holdings is to be an investment holding company, but now I had to register an engineering company now, because we're no longer just a cleaning company.
Yeah.
Yes, and we were helping them on in their rolling mills, and that's when we employed over 219 people at that time. And fast forward, we registered that company 2017, and now the company now is contracted to Unica Iron and Steel, and Unica Iron and Steel, somehow they were able to build us to where we are now, to this big, because from 2021, then they gave us this big contract, and we are quite sizable big company. And through Unica Iron and Steel, through this opportunity, now we employed over 300 employees. Yes, we're managing over 300 employees. We're feeding 300 families.
Definitely.
On day-to-day
basis.
Yes, and then challenges are there, but somehow, if you do have this mentor, if someone is there and he's actually giving you all the resources, you do have the resources at your disposal, and they're teaching you, they're giving you all these things. Now it became such a very pretty amazing journey.
Yeah.
Then that was Makopo Engineering. Then what I did is, as and when I grew, then I understood that actually my business model, it's not that sustainable. I need to actually diversify, given the fact that the industry that we are in, the steel industry, especially South African steel industry, it's I cannot say it's going under, but now it's still feeling the pinch of a lot of things that happened
in the past.
And somehow it's splitting a lot of jobs. We're sitting here as Elemental, the only primary producer of steel that we have as a country, which is quite systematic. The company is quite systematic in the industry. Without that primary steel industry, there's nothing that you can do. Now, it's retrenching 3,500 people, direct jobs, and indirect jobs over 100,000 of people that will be affected. And the industry is going down now. Yeah, and then I tried to study the industry. Then I realized that our biggest peak then, it was in 2006, when we used to produce at least 0.8% of the world steel consumption.
Yeah.
But now we're sitting at 0.2. You can see the decline.
It's too much.
It's the biggest decline.
Yeah.
And hundreds of jobs
are lost. From
from then until now. The industry, we lost hundreds, if not millions of jobs in the industry alone. And this industry is the industry which is, even if you can want to revitalize or reindustrialize the economy, you cannot do. Then I've been rethinking about the whole thing to say, you know what, if you can have only one business and you master only this. Now, and I've seen some trends that can affect us. Then I've decided to say, okay, let me also venture, because our business model, it's not that sustainable. Then I said, no, let me venture into other industries. But I need to be quite careful not to over diversify.
Yeah, true.
Because I need to learn from the mistakes that I did.
Yeah.
Yes. Then that's when, and then I came up with Pantsu Investments. Pantsu's Investments is just an investment arm. And what we do is we have a share portfolio. We buy shares in a stock exchange. It's just a strategic
The
way
JSE.
of. Yes, the thing is, when you still have this ability to earn something, what you do is you need to somehow have, because the aim is to build a bankable group of businesses. Yes, and then I need to now at least make sure that we have this liquid asset parked somewhere. And then what we do, whatever the profits or proceeds that we realize from other businesses, then we invest them.
Yeah.
And then I'm learning, because I'm the one who do those fundamental analysis as to which stock do we buy and everything, because now I teach myself a lot of things. Then